Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this tutorial I am going to show you how we can implement this home screen layout for our React Native Firebase social app by using styled components. So over here you can see we have several posts from our friends, and here we can see the layouts. So in the post we have this post image, user information, the post content which is the text contents, and we have these interaction buttons so the user can like the post. So these are the UI components, and we will be implementing this UI by using styled component. And here in the iOS simulator also we can see we have similar kind of layout, right? Along with it we are going to create another screen, which is this create new post screen. Here we don't have many components, but we have a clean layout. Here we can type the post, right? And then here we can select whatever we want to do, if we want to take a photo or choose a photo, and then we can post it. So these are the layouts, these are not the functionalities. In this tutorial we are not going to implement any functionality. In this tutorial we are going to only focus on the UI, and later parts of this tutorial we will be implementing these functionalities. And let me tell you that this tutorial is a part of a tutorial series where I am creating a social app by using Firebase. So previously in our tutorial series we have already created this login screen and this sign up screen, and along with it we have implemented Firebase authentication. So we have already implemented email based authentication, and along with it we have implemented this Facebook and Google sign in as well. So all these things have been done previously. So if you haven't seen all those tutorials yet, then I would highly recommend you to see those tutorials. It will be helpful to you. And if you just only want to see the implementation of the styled components in React Native, then you can only focus on this tutorial. So if you find these tutorials interesting to you, then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon so that you get notified whenever I post a new tutorial on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get started with the tutorial. So this is our project, and this is our homescreen.js file. Here we will implement our UI, and I have made few changes since my last tutorial. So let me quickly discuss those things. Here you can see we have this bottom tab navigator. So I have created these 3 tabs, and in this tutorial series we are going to implement these screens and functionalities as well. Previously we have this logout button in our home screen. Right now I have moved this into this profile screen, and I have implemented these things in our abstract.js file. Here you can see we have this tab navigator and we have different tabs. In this particular home screen we have this feed stack. Here you can see we have this plus button, and if we click on this plus button then we have this screen where we can add the post. So we are going to implement that as well. So for that I have created this feed stack, and we have implemented stack navigator over here. So if you want to learn more about this stack navigator, tab navigator, React navigation in general, then you can check my React navigation version 5 tutorial playlist. In that tutorial series I have covered many parts of the React navigation version 5. So if you are interested to implement this bottom tab navigator and stack navigators, if you want to know more about those things, how I have implemented it over here, then you can definitely check out that playlist. In that tutorial series I haven't shown bottom tab navigator, but over there I have shown material bottom tab navigators, and that is pretty similar to this bottom tab navigator. So I will recommend you to check that tutorial. In this tutorial I am not going to explain these navigators and all, and for these navigators I have created these screens as well. So in this screens directory I have added few screens, and I have made some changes in abstract.js file. And in my project within this assets directory I have added this post and users folder. For post we have some post images, and for users we have some user images, which we will use to implement our UI. Now let's focus onto this home screen, and now we are going to implement the UI by using styled component. So first we need to install the styled components. So here is the official documentation of styled components, and styled components have many benefits in React Native, and I will discuss all those benefits while implementing the UI. But at a glance you can see that we can use CSS styles in our React Native app. Currently in our app we are not using CSS, we are using style sheet styles, and here we have these camel case properties, right? And these styles are pretty static. And what do I mean by static? I will explain you later while I will implement the UI. But overall we can see the advantage is that we can use CSS codes in our React Native app, and I think most of you are web designer or web developer and you are pretty familiar with CSS stylings, so it is easy to implement any kind of design in React Native app by using styled components. So we are going to install it to our app. For that I'm going to documentation, and here we have this installation guide. So this is the command which I need to use. So I have copied it and now paste it here. So it has been installed. Now we can start implementing it. Here I have created another directory called styles, and within this styles directory I am going to create a new file called feed styles. You can name it as homestyle.js file as well, because we are going to use it to style our home screen. Now to use these styled components, first we need to import it. So import styled from styled components, and now we can create a style. So here currently we have this container, so let me create this container. So first I'm going to create this container constant, and we are going to export it so that we can use it in our homescreen.js file. We are using styled components, so we are using this styled dot, then we need to provide the component which we want to style. That means for this view we are providing this container style, right? So view is the component which we want to style. So here after this dot we need to provide this view, and then within this double tick we are going to add our CSS styles. And now here you can see we have this CSS styles, and now we can add it. So the background color is white. We have flex 1, justify content. So flex 1, justify content center, align content center as well. Now save it. Now we can import that over here from our feedstyles.js file, and here we can get this container. So now we can replace this view with container. Now after saving it we can see that nothing changes except this welcome text, right? And that is because I have used align content over here. So if I use align item center, then it is fine. So it's working perfectly, right? So like this we can start implementing it, and we will need this padding for this container as well. So now we can remove this style sheet from this file and implement all the stylings in our feedstyle.js file. So we don't need this text, so I have deleted it. Now you can see that how much cleaner our file gets. We are just focusing on to the actual components which are required to build our layout in our main file, and then we have separate file for our styles. Over there we are using CSS styles. Now let's see how we are going to implement our layout. This is our one post. This is kind of a card layout, and in this card we have a different background. It is a different color than our background color. Within this card we will have this user information, then the text, and then images and the interactions. So let's implement it. We are going to create similar kind of component. So now we need to create this card component. It is also will be a view, and for this view the background color will be this background color. Then the width of it will be 100%. I will provide a margin bottom 10 pixel, and then I will provide a border radius which will be 10 pixel as well. Okay, let's change this margin bottom to 20 pixel. Now import this one, and within this container let's use this card. Now just to check this, add this hello text within it. So now we can see that it has been added. Now after the card we have this user information section, and within this user information first we have the user image, then username and the post timing, right? So here it will be user info and it will be a view as well, and flex direction of it will be row, and for justify content I will use flex start because we will have information side by side. First we will have this image, then we have this information, so that's why we have used flex direction row, and for up and down we will use flex direction column. Now after this user info we will have user image and it will be image component, right? By using this image component we can display image in React Native. So for these images I will provide width and height 50 pixel, and for border radius of it I will provide 50% of it, which is 25 pixel. Let's import these components and then use it over here. So within this user info we have user image, and as we can use the attributes for the image, we can use those same attributes for this user image as well. So whatever component we are going to use, as we are using image over here, so image attributes we can use for this user image. If we use any other components such as text input, so text input have placeholder and other kinds of attributes as well, so we can use those attributes with these styled components, which we will import over here and implement our layout. So for images we need to provide source attribute, so here also we will have this source, and for this source we can provide an image. So assets, users, and then within this users we have user1 2, so user3.jpg. now after saving it we can see we have the user image available. Now after this user image we have this user information, so the username and the post time, so it will be username and it will be text, and for this text I will use 14 pixel font size. For font weight I will use bold, and for font family I will use a custom font which we are using for our application. From our login screen we can see we are using this font family and this font family as well. So this font family I have used in our logo, and this is the main font which we are using. Okay, now save it. Now use it over here, but before using it we need to import it. For username we can use a name, so it's working perfectly. Now after this username we have this post time information, and for these two components the flex direction will be column. So for that these two sections needs to be wrapped within another section. So before this username I'm going to create another component which will be user info text. This section will contain user text information. That's the reason behind this naming. You can provide any kind of name you want over here. This naming depends upon you, but whatever you are using over here, this depends upon the component which you are going to use to implement the layout. So the flex direction for it will be column. For justify content I will use center, and I will provide some margin here, so it will be margin left 10 pixel. Now use it over here, and within this I have provided this username, so now it's looking fine. Now after that let's create another component for post time, and it will be also a text component, right? And for it I will use font size 12 pixel. For font family I will use this font. For the color of it I will use this color. So within this post time let's add a time, so it's looking fine. So I just commented out this justify content, so we don't need this justify content. And now after this user information we will have actual post, which is the text content of the post. Then we will have the image. So I will name this as post text, and for its style I will use similar style of it, but I will not use bold styling. Now save it. Now it will be after this user info. So after this user info we will have post text. So notice this, I am adding this post text from the suggestion of my IDE, and my IDE automatically importing this post text. If your IDE is not importing it automatically, you have to import it first, then use it. Now here we can use a text So here we can see we have this text. Now it's showing but it's not looking good. We need to provide some padding and margin. So in our card component we haven't used any padding, and we are not going to use the padding in card component, because if we use that then we will have padding in this image as well. But in this image component we can see that we are not using any padding over here, but for this text and this information, all other sections, we have this padding. So we will use those padding in every other sections, not for the image. So that's why we are not going to use it in card component but in this user info. So here in this user info I'm going to use 15 pixel padding. Now it has been positioned perfectly. Now let's add the padding for this text as well, and here I'm going to add the padding to the left and right. Now let's implement the post image section, and it will be image as well. And for the width of it I will use 100%, and for the height of it I will use 250 pixel, and then for the margin I will use 15 pixel at the top. Let's add an image, and here we need to provide the source, and the source will be similar to this. And let's see what we have. We have post image 1 2 3. So we have the post image and it has been styled perfectly, which we wanted. Now let's see, after this post image we have this interaction section. Here we have the likes and comments. So it will be interaction, and I will create a interaction wrapper section first, and it will be a view. And for this interaction the flex direction will be row. For justify content I will use space around, and for padding I will use 15 pixel. And after this interaction wrapper we will have interaction. This section is the interaction wrapper, and then we will have different interactions. So we have this interaction, and it will be the touchable opacity. Why touchable opacity? Because the user will be able to click on these interactions, right? So these are the buttons, but these are not the typical button. So that's why we are using touchable opacity to customize the button to our requirement. Now here the flex direction will be row, because in this interaction we have these two sections. We have first the icon, and then we have the text, and this complete section will be the button, which is this touchable opacity. Then for justify content I will use center. For border radius it will be 5 pixel, and for padding I will use. Now let's test this one. So first we have interaction wrapper, and within this we have interaction, and within this interaction we can have some text. So now let's just use our text over here, like. So here we can see the like text, but before this text we need to use an icon. So for this icon we are going to use React Native vector icons, and I have already previously imported that React Native vector icon in our project, and I'm going to use Ionicons. So here Ionicons, and for the name of the icon it will be heart outline. Size of it will be 25. Now let's create this interaction text component, and for the text of it I will use this styling. For font weight I will use bold. For the color of it I will use this black color. Now let's use this over here. So it will be interaction text. So here we need to provide some margin. So for margin top I will use 5 pixel, and we need to provide some margin to the left as well. So let's use 5 pixel. So it's looking fine. Now let's copy this one again for our comment. So it will be comment, and for the icon of it I will use chat bubble outline. So now we can see that these two interactions are looking fine. Now let's copy this card once for another post. So now it's looking fine. We have proper margin in between different posts. Now let's consider different scenario. Here first consider this post. In this post the user haven't provided any image. User just provided a text. So for that here we have this text, and then we have this thin line, right? So here we will not have this post image, but we don't have that thin line present over here, so we need to create that. So here after this post image I will create a divider, and this divider will be a view, and in this view we will provide a border. And here is a thing which we need to note: while implementing border in CSS, we can just simply use it as bx solid and then some color, right? But this way we cannot do it over here. Here in React Native we need to provide border color, border width separately, and as I am going to use border at the bottom of this view, that's why I'm using border bottom color. So that means I have to use border bottom width as well, right? And then I need to use some width of it. Now let's use it over here. So I have used this divider, and let's see, it has been imported. Now save it. After saving it, we can see here's the border. Now change the color of it, and it's not in the center, so let's align it to the center. I'm going to increase the width of it. Now it's aligned perfectly. Now we need to provide some margin to the top, and I will use 15 pixels. So now it's looking fine. Now we have several other scenarios, such as when the user likes a post. That time this like button will look like this, otherwise it will look like this. Currently we have implemented it, but we need to implement this one as well. And here is the best part of this style component comes. Remember previously I have mentioned that React Native style sheet is pretty static. We cannot use props over there, but in style components we can use props, and based upon the props we can customize our stylings. Let me show you that. Here in the interaction for this button we will have different color, right? After this dollar curly braces we can receive props, and here for these props we can check if we have active props present, then we will provide a color over here, which is this color. Else don't use any color, so the color will be transparent. Now save it. Now here in this interaction we can provide active prop, and it will be the background color. Here we can see that it has been added. This is the solid color. I will use some opacity of it, so now it's looking fine. But we are not going to add this interaction for comment, we are going to add this interaction for like. If the post has been liked, then we will have this background color. Along with that we will change the text as well, and this icon. Okay, so we are going to use this fill icon, and for the color of it we are going to use this color. So here for this interaction text we can provide this checking, so we will receive props, and for this active props we are going to add this color. If it is not active, then we will have this color. Now save it. Let's provide this prop for this interaction text as well. Now we can see that it has been changed, right? If it has been liked, then we will display how many times it has been liked. So this post has 12 likes and this post doesn't have any like, then we will have this like text. So that's where the advantage of styled components comes. Right, so we can create any component and we can provide dynamic styles to those components as well. So now we can see that we have these cards, and these cards will be repeated simultaneously. So we can create a component for this card, and then we will render these cards within a flat list. So here within this component, let's create a component. And for this component, first we need to import React from React, and then it is the postcard, and within this postcard we will return our component. So we are using these components over here, so we need to import all those things. So I copy this. Along with it we will require this icon as well, and paste it over here and export this component. And now import it over here, and after importing we will use flat list to create our post. Let me first remove these cards from here, and then we will require an array of post data. I have already prepared an array of data and I'm going to paste that array over here. So here is the post data which I have pasted over here, and we don't need these components, so I have removed it, but we will require this container as we are going to use it over here. And now we can use our flat list, and for this flat list data we are going to use this post array. Okay, and for render item I'm going to render postcard, and we are going to receive each item over here, and I'm going to pass those items by this item prop, and then we need to provide this key extractor, and here for each item we will provide item ID. Now after saving this, we can see we have this post available, but it's not looking perfect because our component is not wide enough and we are not dynamically changing it. We need to accept that item prop which we have passed from this flat list, and then we need to use it over here. So for the user image, here we can see the user image username. So for item we have user image, so user image has been changed. Then we have username, so let me quickly change these things. So these things has been changed perfectly. Now we can see we have several other posts, but now we need to check these things. Here we have this dynamic part. Sometimes post image can be present, sometimes it cannot be present, and sometimes some post has been liked or sometimes some post hasn't been liked, right? So for this liked we have true false, and then we have like count and the comment count. So we will consider those things in our component. So first here, if item doesn't has post image, so that means if we don't have post image, then we have provided this none text, right? So if post image not equal to none, then we will have post image, right? And for the source of it, it will be post image, and if it is none, then we will display this divider, right? Now save this. After saving this, we can see that it's showing perfectly, and here we can see a scroll bar present, and I don't need that scroll bar, so that's why I'm going to use vertical scroll indicator as false. So right now if we scroll, we don't see that scroll bar. Now let's consider these like count and comment count. So here I have created a variable like icon. If the post has been liked, then the like icon will be heart, this one, which is completely filled, and if it is not liked, then it will be heart outline. So we can see it has been modified, right? Now similarly we need to modify these colors as well, and the background color. If the post hasn't been liked yet, then the color will be changed. So first, for like icon color, if the item has been liked, then it will be this color, otherwise it will be this black color. So the color has been changed. Then we will need to change this background color and this text color, and this coloring has been changed by this styling, right? And we have this active prop which is deciding those colors, so we need to provide this active based upon the like. So here we can do that by this item liked. For this active, we are getting true or false. If the item has been liked, then we will provide this true, and if it is not liked, then we are providing this false, and we are passing those true false value to this active prop. So now we can see that it has been changed, right? Now we need to take consideration of the like count and the comment count. As we can see here, we have 0 likes and 0 comments, but here we have several likes and several comments. So here, if item likes equal to 1, then for the like text I will provide 1 like. Else if item likes is greater than 1, then the like text will be item likes, so the number of likes, then likes message. Else if the like count is not equal to 1 or not greater than 1, that means it's 0. So for that case we will provide only like text. And similarly I will copy this for comments as well. Now let's use this like text and comment text over here. So here it is like text and here it is comment text. Now save it. Here we can see 14 likes, 5 comments, 8 likes, 0 comment. If it is 0, then it will not display 0, it will display comment. Let's check this. The second one have 0 comment. Okay, and this one, the last post, has 0 like, 0 comment. So we have like, comment. So that's how we have implemented this home screen layout by using style components. And now one more thing has been left, which is this add new post screen. So here within this add post screen, we need to create few elements. The first element is text input, where we will type our post. Then we will have a float button. So let's first create that input field, and for that also I will use style component, and within this styles directory I will create another file called add post.js. and first we need to import styled components, and here we will have very few components. The first one will be input wrapper. It will be a view component. For the flex of this I will provide flex 1. Justify content will be center. Align items will be center as well. For width of it I will provide 100%, and for the background color of it I will use this background color. And after this input wrapper we will create the input field, and it will be our text input. And here also we will provide this justify content and align items as center. And for the font size I will use 25 pixel, and text align I will use center, and for the width of it I will use 90%. So now let's use those components over here. So input wrapper, I'm using this input wrapper over here, so it has been automatically imported from add-post.js file. And then we will have input field. For this input field I can provide some attributes, and these attributes will be the attributes of text input, right? So we can provide placeholder. Now save it. After saving we can see that it's showing perfectly as we want, and I want to make it multi-line supported, and for number of lines I will provide 4. So now we can start typing over here, and it will be multi-line supported, right? Now after this we are going to add a float button, and for this float button I'm going to use this React Native action button package. So here we will have this kind of functionality, so that's what I'm going to use. So I have copied that command and paste it over here to install this package. So the package has been added, and then we can use it like this. We need to import it first. I have imported it, and then after our screen component we can use this action button. So we have this input wrapper, and after this input wrapper we can have this component. And now let me make few changes over here quickly. Now save it. Okay, can't find variable icon, so we need to import icons as well. So this is the icon from React Native vector icons. Now save it. Now let's check. So here we can see our icon has been presented, but we are seeing some warning over here. So this is the problem in this package. In this package there are few warnings available which we need to be fixed. If you don't want to use it, then you can use another one, which is this React Native floating action, and this is pretty new. This also has similar kind of functionality, but I found this one is simple to implement, so that's why I have implemented it. You can implement this React Native floating action one. It is pretty new, and it has many more customization option as well. If you want this one, then you can use it. Otherwise we are going to fix these errors. So there are two warnings, and we need to fix it in action button.js for our package. The component will receive props warning, so for it we need to use this unsafe. And then for this animated method we need to use this use native driver false. Now save it. Now after saving it we can see that those error has been gone, right? And here we can use these stylings. So now it's looking perfect. So take photo, choose photo option, choose photo will open the gallery, and if we want we can take photo by opening the camera. So this is the tutorial, guys. I hope you have learned something new from this tutorial. If you do so, then hit the like button, let me know by commenting down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. And I will see you guys in my next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great day. Goodbye.